Hi everyone and welcome to Bumbly Bazaar. This is a very large park with a path that goes right through the middle because there are two entrances and exits, and then there's an existing market slash bazaar here in the middle. Because the objective of this scenario is to get a monthly profit of $1,000 from food, drink, and merchandise sales. So that's what we're going to want to focus on. We do start with a nice, healthy selection of shops and stalls. I know there's more to research along the way. The best news is that we start out with a cash machine. So we're not going to have to worry about guests running out of money. Just as long as these are strategically placed, we'll be just fine. Also nice to have the first aid room so we can manage our sick guests. So I'm going to start actually by spreading out these stalls here. This is a very small area with a lot of stalls and not a lot of seating, so it's just going to get congested. And in addition, these merchandise stalls are not in the best location. We're going to want to put those near the exits of our more popular attractions, so I'm probably just going to delete those and then place them later on. So that'll be the first thing, is spread those out, and then going to look into building some attractions, also replacing some of the dirt path with more of the paved hardscape. Just a personal preference. So here's our shops and stalls, as I mentioned. We're starting with a decent collection of water rides. Not the best thrill ride collection, so we'll want to focus on researching those. Not the best roller coaster selection, but we do start out with the Hyper Twister roller coaster. It's one of my favorites. And gentle rides, not the best selection. Got the good old merry-go-round, which will be fine, but I'm not going to focus on researching anymore here. So let's do that first. Change that to maximum. No more scenery, transport, gentle, or water rides. We will focus on that. So I think we're all set up and ready to go. So let's take a crack at this one. I'm going to go ahead and get started on my reorganization of my food, beverage, and retail, and we'll check back in pretty soon. All right, we're nearing the end of July, year one, so a couple months have gone by, and you'll see progress is a little slow, but that's fine. Again, there's no timeline on this specific scenario. So some of the changes that happened were I split the main bazaar here, as I had mentioned. Just wanted to spread the crowd out a little bit, and I built basically all the stalls I could and researched. I think this one came in a little bit later, and then the meatball soup came in a little bit later. So that's where we are with that. And then there's a bunch of the t-shirt and souvenir stalls in here, which I deleted, and I'll probably put those back in soon once I get another coaster or something. So those are, you want to put at the exit or near the exit of your very high excitement rating or your very popular attractions, because most guests will buy, more likely to buy from there. So I did put a t-shirt stall here at the end of this roller coaster, which I'll go over there in just a moment. But first thing I did was also build a merry-go-round, as usual, on this end of the park. I built a loop in this area, just again because it's basically one way or two-way on one strip of walkway here all the way through, and so it started to just get a little congested. You can see that it is even now. There's still some congestion here, it looks like it. So eventually I'll connect these loops, but don't really have a need to do that just yet. I also built the twist here, little area, and then this was the first roller coaster I built. This is we'll call the Bumbly River. So these are log cars, so Bumbly River Log Jam. It's got decent ratings here. When it first opened, it got a lot of people, but there's more coming in now, and I'm charging $7.50 for that. So that I'm kind of developed this area out here kind of as an oasis. So I'll probably bring in some of this more the greener area, maybe around this area, just so I can get some more landscaping in. And then I just put two sunglasses stalls here, one there and then one at the beginning. So there's a couple strategies to this. I've read, there's some people like mention that, yeah, you can even charge for the restrooms if you want, which goes towards your revenue. of food and beverage and retail. I haven't done that yet. I'm trying not to do that. That just seems a little cruel. But I have had to pay a little closer attention to the prices of basically all my food and beverage. The maps, I increased the umbrella price to $3. I think it starts at $2.50, which has been a good amount. No one's complained yet, and people are buying. Then the map price, I just went up, I think, 10 cents. It's originally 60. I had it at 90, but people weren't buying it. I did increase basically each of the food stalls up either 20 cents or so. And I haven't had any complaints yet as far as stuff that is too expensive. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. So the lemonade, actually, I've already increased once after they said it was cheap, so I'm going to go up a little bit more. This seems to be my most popular one because it is hot out here. So I've got that one lemonade stall here. And let's see, iced tea, how's that one doing? That one's doing pretty well too, so go up a little bit. So just keeping an eye on your food prices, because usually, and I haven't done that in any of their scenarios, increase the price on a lot of these, but you can. Every little bit adds up. So now guests are starting to get hungry. Before, these were pretty empty, and they're finally showing up. So let's see where we are. Yeah, before there's only a couple of these items that really had some profit. So the only thing right now, sunglasses stall 1 is -1 per hour, but I'm not too concerned about that just yet. So we'll see what happens. But it's healthy. I'm glad everyone's got some profit. All right, so that's where we are. This one is going to be a little more of a slow burn, but I'm fine with that. So we'll probably check in early in the new year and see what we've been able to expand to. So I'll talk to you soon. All right, it's April year 2. I made some changes here, and one thing I found was, I kind of had forgot about this level, is you could take out a very generous loan. I don't know if that's frowned upon, but the last video I was up at 12,000, so I had only taken out additional 2,000 to help finish up the junior coaster down here, but I took out a little bit more because I wanted to get a big coaster in here. It doesn't seem that big, but it definitely costs a lot of money. The good news with this is it has been selling a lot of on-ride photos, which I increased price to $220. I think that's generally what I found to be the right price. And then I threw in the souvenir stall right outside it. And that's, as you can see, a lot of people going by picking up umbrellas, and then the cuddly toys. And people have actually keep saying, oh, now the umbrella is too much. So there was a point where everyone was saying that $3 wasn't too expensive. Anyways, one clarification, you may have noticed that when you're watching video, I completely missed it. But instead of having to go add up all this and subtract, there is a nice little thing right down here that shows you your last month's profit. So you can see last month actually got really close. I had not expected that, actually. Frankly, I wasn't paying too much attention. I was kind of focused on this and doing a little bit of the theming here for the supports. But that might come down a little bit. So we'll see where we are. Let's see if we could kind of compare March. So let's see, we are halfway through. So you can see shop sales, we had a good amount. Food and drink sales, that might surpass what we did in March, but really the big thing was that shop sales, most likely from the coaster. And now that that crowd is kind of dying down a little bit, I don't know if we're going to be able to get close. But that tells me is probably need to do just one more big coaster or ride, and we might be able to make it that time, especially if we put some of the souvenir stalls and maybe the hat stall, which I haven't put in anywhere yet, to help make up some of that revenue. You can see everyone walking around in yellow shirts from the t-shirt stall over here. That definitely has picked up. So let's see, the most profitable is that t-shirt right now. The souvenir stall over here was up at about 800 an hour when I had just first opened this. So it's can be a little different now. Oh, so it still is 800. So that's great. The only thing that's underperforming is seafood stall 1 right here. Probably it's a little too, well, it seems to be okay. The meatball soup is down in chicken nuggets stall 2, which I think is this one. So maybe I'll just lower the price a little bit, but it might take from some of the other food stalls. So we seem to be doing okay. These were all very busy a little bit ago. I think everyone got their fill, but probably for all the new guests coming in, we should get another wave of hungry and thirsty guests. So going to keep an eye on where we are. I don't think we'll get close to this in this coming month, or the month of April, but maybe by the summer of year 2 we'll be okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and plan the next expansion here, and I'll see you soon. Okay, well, it is now July year 2. I've had to expand a little bit more, and I think this may be the month. So fingers crossed. We've got a couple days left here, so I'll just kind of show you what's been going on. But before I just show off the stats, I realized I didn't show it last time. So here are the stats for Sandstorm. Decent. It is interesting that the crowd hasn't really maintained the crowd as much as I'd expect. Even lowered the price to $8 an hour, but I'm not going to be too worried about that. Little Bumbly River log jam is doing fine over here, still bringing in some money. I did start going through, and I basically a couple weeks ago just looked at what, if any, stalls weren't performing well and replaced them with some of the newer ones I got. Like this is a new one, or not a new one, but this is now showing a negative profit. But I'm not going to replace it right now unless I need to, in case we don't make it for this month. Cotton Candy Stall 1 is what I replaced it with, which is doing actually better than what was there before. Actually, it's getting better now. And then I replaced the seafood stall with the popcorn. I added 2 motion simulators here, one for each film. And then I added this roller coaster, the wooden coaster here, which is very popular. The line has been basically full for a month or two since I've opened it. So the stats are decent. There is an on-ride photo, so that's helping a lot. I added the first hat stall out here, and that's just making a killing. So let's see. We'll find out here in a second. All right. There we go. A lot faster than last time I played. So let's see what I got. So 1,321. 300 over, which is great. So the last couple months I was hovering around a little less than 900. I think there was even one that was like back to 780. So that's great. So this one here, just an observation is that the guests seem to be a little more frugal when it comes to the attractions. The park is a lot bigger, so there's a lot more people walking around versus actually queuing or being on the attractions. So that's going to slow down the speed at which you can make money. I wish there was a way you can close like one of these entrances and exits here so you could just expand the park out, but there is not. So that's just the nature of this scenario. The big thing is to just provide as many useful eating areas as possible and be strategic about that. I mean, without the on-ride photos and then taking advantage of the souvenir stalls, the t-shirt stalls and hat stalls outside of the major attractions, that would be a little more difficult to do. I mean, you can see food and drink sales alone last month were only $337 minus our stock. So yeah, we were about $237 profit with our food and drink, which isn't a lot. You can see obviously shop sales is where we make it up. So it's important to keep in mind. So that's, yeah, so there we are, Bumbly Bazaar. So thank you for watching, and hope you'll be able to enjoy the next video.